Nearly 1.4 million people across Germany gathered over the weekend to protest the far-right Alternative for Germany Party. Berlin. Demonstrations against the far-right Alternative for Germany Party spread across the country this weekend, and calls to ban it grew stronger after a report that its members were discussing plans for mass deportations. Choose your plan. ArrowRight After months of soaring popularity for AfD. Report appears to have served as a wake-up call for Germans who oppose group. With an estimated 1.4 million people taking to streets over weekend, rallies in Hamburg and Munich had to be dispersed because many more people attended than expected. Aerials from across the country showed crowds filling city squares and streets, braving Germany's brutal January temperatures. Nearly 100,000 people gathered in Berlin on Sunday on the lawns the Reichstag, home of Germany's lower house parliament. According to police figures, banners at protests emphasized Germany's special responsibility to oppose far-right, given country's dark history under Nazi rule that led to Holocaust. Some banners read "It will never happen again and now can see what we would do if we're our grandparents." The protests were triggered by an investigative report early January that revealed AfD members met with right-wing extremists in Potsdam November to discuss a comeback plan if the AfD came to power. Martin Sellner, far-right extremist and leader of Austrian Identitarian Movement, has proposed a master plan that would reverse the settlement of foreigners. According to a report by nonprofit research institute Corrective, the report stated that the focus would be on asylum seekers, non-Germans with residence rights and non-assimilated German citizens. The idea of sending people a model state in North Africa was also reportedly discussed. This is similar to the Nazi plan deport millions of Jews Madagascar in 1940. With less than 6 months until Germans go to the polls in European Parliament elections, the AfD has maintained its second place in national polls for months. With around 22% of vote, party is only single digits behind conservative opposition, Christian Democratic Union and Christian Social Union, known as CDUCSU. Meanwhile, the center-left ruling coalition's approval ratings have fallen to record lows due to high living costs, a budget crisis and immigration rose. Last week's protests underlined the sense of urgency among many voters to ban the AfD before regional elections this autumn. In September, voters will go to polls in 3 eastern states, where the AfD is currently voting as strongest party. Asked last week whether the Home Office was surprised by the Corrective report, Department spokeswoman Britta Beylage-Haarmann told reporters, "We cannot comment on intelligence here. The country's domestic intelligence has an eye for this stuff," she said. Following reports' publication, comparisons were immediately made with 1942 Wanns.